My name is Jada.
Kai.
Liz.
And I'm Camille. Friends. How many of us have that?
Yes! Yeah.
That was good.
Oh my God. I mean, so it's gotta be a, what is it?
Hot Tita Summer. What's good, everybody? You ready to have a good time? Is that what you came here for? Because that's what I thought we were trying to do. So with that said, you got Jada.
Liz.
And I'm Camille.
And we are calling all boss babayas and creative kabayan.
To talk about what it means to be tita. So join us for a tita timeout.
And dust off that wrapping paper that's been sitting in the back of your closet.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it is Christmas season. It's
Yes.
December. We love December, don't
Clink,
we?
clink, clink.
Yes, we do.
It's time for Filipinos to shine and do what we do best. Christmas.
Celebrate Christmas. Get ready for Christmas. Sing Christmas carols.
Oh, yeah. Hang up that parole.
But also the snow is falling on the ground now.
Snow
Yeah.
is officially here
Yeah.
now.
For sure.
Parka is out.
Bus, yeah.
Yep. And,
Boots.
I'm not even mad. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not mad. Yeah,
You like it?
I was walking in it today.
I'm cool with winter until Christmas. After Christmas is done,
It's over.
There's no need.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
need winter anymore.
You're
like,
right.
You can leave.
It's like, what are you setting the stage for?
What-
after
yeah.
that, right? Like, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, but I'm not dreaming of a white March.
Or yeah, exactly.
You know what I
or
mean?
February,
A white
or
Easter.
January.
No, bye.
You know,
like,
like-
that's it. You know, like after
no.
Christmas, yeah, we're
Yeah.
good.
There's
I'm
no
good.
white
Have you guys started
Easters.
your Christmas shopping? Like y'all,
Oh yeah,
Everyone's getting cash and cards.
nice.
That's it.
simple.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm not even-
everybody wants cash and cards this year.
Yeah, right?
I mean-
Considering the year we had, yeah.
Yes,
You're
in
right.
This economy, yeah.
Yeah, seriously. And you kind of just don't want to be in the. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really like to be in the mall when it's so crazy.
I
Oh, my
actually
God.
don't mind it because that's when I talk to strangers the most.
Oh really?
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
They always ask me, I don't know, I always talk to strangers, but like for some reason, they really like gravitate towards me around Christmas
It's
time.
your
I don't know
aura,
if there's just
girl.
like more people in the mall, so it's like it's gonna happen more
Yeah.
than normal.
Higher
but
probability.
Like, yeah.
Or maybe you're like vibing
That's what I was
Christmas.
gonna say.
Yeah,
They're
maybe,
like,
maybe.
the aura,
I just
and you're
wanna-
You know what? You know, maybe
other
that's it.
Christmas
Maybe that's
people.
it. Maybe
That's what
it's
it is.
possible that they think I work there or something.
Christmas
I don't know.
spirits.
Because
Yeah.
I'm always wearing something Christmassy if I'm
Love that.
out during Christmas. So
Love that. They actually say that the earlier you celebrate Christmas, the more joyful you are. Like, you know,
I believe that.
Like the spirit brings some kind of
for sure.
joy,
For sure.
regardless of what's going on.
I've had a handful of years where like it just didn't register for me,
Right. That is
until like
The
10
24th.
days before, and then
Right.
it's that mad rush, and then that's the thing. It's like you have Christmas, and then I feel like it's so quick, and then you're like, oh well, it's done now. Like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so you do want to have a little bit more time to be genuinely
Celebrate.
joyous. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
be
yeah.
real. When do you guys take your tree down?
See, it's varied from like it's been as early as January. It's been as late as like March. Who said that?
What?
No.
March,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
No, there was like 1 year. It was like really like I think our family just was not. No one was trying to do it.
That is so friggin' funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1 year for sure.
Well, Jack's birthday is until the 10th, and now Jalen the 15th. So I think we're gonna wait till their birthday, and then we're gonna put
Cute.
it down. Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
that's
Yeah,
cute.
that's
I like
good.
that.
I think
That's
so.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep the
that's good.
celebrations rolling.
Exactly.
What about you?
We definitely leave it up till March.
Stop. Are you
It's
serious?
not just me, it's my husband.
Oh.
Like we really love our
that's
tree.
Christmas, yeah.
So pretty much like until Easter. Like until like maybe a few weeks before Easter.
You need the other holiday to transition.
Yeah, like because honestly, I don't have an excuse to take it down. Like it's so
Yeah.
awesome. I love it.
I know.
It's
Hey,
so
it looks
beautiful.
And if you think about it, people do it for other holidays, like Halloween. Some like the people who love Halloween
Yeah,
sometimes
they
will
put
have
some
their
yeah.
Halloween
decorations out for how long?
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
people have Christmas decorations for however
That is so funny.
you want. Whatever brings you joy.
Yeah.
I thought like mid-January was late, and then you guys said March. Oh.
Yeah.
I was
have no
scared to
shame,
admit
no
March.
shame.
Yeah.
No shame.
You know what? More
not alone.
Christmas, more joy.
That's
like,
the thing, right?
whatever.
Like
Is that the new rule now?
Love
Just keep
it.
your tree up until Easter. Like that's the new
Until
rule
the next holiday.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Tita said.
Yes.
You
Keep
can
it
hold
up till
until
March.
Easter, okay?
From September to March, the Christmas tree is up.
Yeah. Well, in fairness, like I put it up a little later this year. I put it up last month in November, or was it? Yeah, after Halloween. We waited till after Halloween.
yeah.
So we've been doing that the last couple of years, just kind of later and later. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've kind of shaved down the total tree time,
Oh, you're so funny.
right? Because usually it's up from like September till March. So
There you go.
You know what? That's awesome. We love Christmas, right?
I love Christmas.
It doesn't.
We are going to reveal the Filipino word of the day.
Ew.
So it's a longer phrase today.
Okay.
Okay. So bear
Look at
with
us
me,
advancing.
right? Bear with me. Galaw galaw, baka mastak.
Oh.
Galau, galau.
Galau,
baka
galau.
mastak.
Yeah.
Baka mastak.
Which means
Move.
Move around, or you might get stuck.
galau,
Oh.
galau, baka mastak.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
kind of like also,
It's like stick and move, stick and move.
yeah, it's kind of deep.
Yeah,
Like, move,
that's what I'm
move, or else
saying.
you're gonna
Or
get
you're gonna get
stuck.
It's
stuck.
gonna get stuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Galau, galau.
Literally
Baka may
and-
stuck.
Yeah.
Figuratively.
Okay. That's nice. It's
That's
a
a
good
good one, yeah.
reminder.
Right?
Yeah.
Or if you want to shorten it and just say, like, move, because we like to say
Galau.
things twice.
Yeah, yeah,
Galaw,
yeah.
galaw.
Galau, galau.
Like, move. But
Yeah.
it's pretty fitting for this time of year.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure,
yeah,
right?
true.
Holiday season. I love it, but then there's also the also don't you get a little bit of anxiety too? Like
Yes,
in terms
yes,
of just like
another
all
year's
the, like all the
ending.
plans,
Yes.
too, that can kind of stack up a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
You're like, I love it all.
For me, I can also feel like the year is ending, so it's like it's gonna force me to start thinking about how the year went, and that kind of gives me
Ooh.
a little bit of like, okay,
Yeah.
what did I do?
Okay, because you said that,
Girl.
I was watching an older episode of ours
Which one?
last week. I can't remember which one. They were just kind of like playing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what was that one? And it was, we were talking about our resolutions. So it was our last episode, one of our last episodes from the last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were talking about resolutions, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh.
Don't run it.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm like,
But it is nice to think about.
yeah. To see
Check
how
in.
far
It's a
we
good-
came, or what,
yes.
like, was I delusional?
Yeah. No, not at all.
Was I
Not at
overreaching?
all.
You know what I mean? Like,
Not
what
at
was I
all.
thinking?
I don't think anything we set was delusional.
Not
Yeah,
at all.
yeah, yeah.
But to your point, it's also just it's a good checkpoint. Whether you hit the goal or
For
not,
sure.
hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how you
And
move
move forward. Yeah,
is
yeah.
We
Yeah.
what
had
matters
some pretty
most.
lean lists. We
Yeah,
had
yeah.
some lean lists. And
Yeah.
I think just looking at how each of us kind of played out the year, I think we did good. I think we did well.
I think so too.
We did really well.
Yeah, yeah.
So nothing to be ashamed about. It was just really interesting
Progress,
to hear.
not perfection.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank
Yes,
you.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Galau, galau, baka
Gala,
mastak.
gala. Oh,
I'm just saying.
yes.
Gotta keep moving.
I don't want to be stuck.
Oh,
No.
no, girl. No, girl.
Oh man.
But in other news,
Yes.
what's
Oh,
happening in
yes.
pop culture and
My
entertainment?
goodness. Jada, take it
well,
away.
did you guys do any Black Friday shopping?
I
Cyber
did.
Monday shopping?
Yes, I did. I finished
take
my
advantage.
Christmas gifts.
Oh
That's
my
amazing.
I did all of that.
Great.
Yo, because the strike. I'm like, I gotta get
Oh,
everything
100%.
now.
I
Yeah.
keep forgetting about the Canada Post strike.
And it was
so-
Black Friday, good deals. I said, let me just get it on, get it over with, and call it
Very
a day.
smart,
So
very
now it's
smart.
trickling in, and we're wrapping.
Nice.
So
Good.
yeah, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, no, I didn't do too much. How about your Spotify Wrapped? Are you guys fans of Spotify Wrapped?
No, I didn't. Don't do it.
So it just like it didn't do one for me last year. I don't know if
What?
it's because like I didn't like my music choice or what.
Oh,
or maybe
weird.
because anyways, I'm not even gonna get into it. But it did one
Spotify,
for
do
me
better.
this year. I know, right? It did one for me this year, and I started to listen to it actually on the way here.
Yeah.
Because I don't really listen to Spotify that much. I'm listening to Sirius XM Holiday Traditions.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Of course.
So it started playing, and I'm like, oh man, like I didn't even have enough time on the drive to listen to it. But it was like a lot of classical music.
oh.
So it was
that's
just
not
kind of
bad.
like, yeah, but like
Yeah.
I'm in the Christmas spirit. So I
That's
don't
it. So
wanna
you're
hear
like,
it.
not now.
Yeah.
So sorry. What is this holiday? Or
Okay,
what,
so
what is
for
it?
anyone who has Spotify, every year they basically do a wrapped up. So it'll tell you like how many minutes you've listened to, who what your top genres are, who your top artists
got
are,
it.
Yeah.
and it has been something that people have looked forward to. So today, everyone got their Wrapped, and the reviews, they're not even mixed. Everyone's like, what the hell was that?
Oh,
that's funny.
Yeah, they said it was like really poorly done. Like there were no interesting stats. The graphics were boring.
Oh.
So I don't know who was in charge this year. But
You're fired.
yeah, and Foot Locker was super quick. Foot Locker jumped on the trend,
no
and
way.
they've already posted something similar. But it was like, oh, the amount of this, you spent this much time waiting in line for sneakers, or you
Nice.
took this much. Yeah, like they catered it to
Interesting.
sneakerheads, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Spotify Wrapped happened this year. Definitely fell flat for me.
And it'll also like showcase the songs that you listen to throughout the year, like what had the most playing time. That's what
But
I
I
was
do
doing.
appreciate
Yeah.
the playlist, because then it's like it literally is your year wrapped up, and it's all the
Hard,
songs
yeah.
that you had on repeat, which
Yeah.
you obviously love. if
So
they're
it's
on
That's
repeat.
pretty
interesting.
cool.
It's really telling,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for
It's
sure.
like, where was my mind?
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah. True,
definitely,
true.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh man, what do we want to jump into? There's like so many random, like nothing like big and monumental,
What's
but like a bunch
juicy?
of random things.
What's juicy? What's the
Oh, there's a
tea?
lot of
Pop
juicy
culture.
stuff.
There's
on
one in
there. There's one
particular
that's
that's
really
really
juicy.
juicy.
Okay, let's get into
I don't
it.
know, man.
All right,
go.
guys, what do y'all think about? There is this chick from the States. She is a devout Christian. She
Oh.
is still a virgin.
Oh.
She's 20 years old, and she just claimed 43 million on OnlyFans
Whoa.
For what?
for her content. So whoever's like subscribed to her page or paid memberships, but she
Wow.
made 43 million. There are NBA players who didn't even make that much off their contract.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Yeah. And like I read the article briefly. She said like she came from a rough upbringing, like having food stamps and things like this. This has been able to give her a comfortable life. She hasn't had to sleep with anybody or do anything.
Okay,
She's-
because I was
Yeah.
literally gonna ask, like, what
she hasn't
is she doing?
physically slept with anyone, but all her content of her probably showing
Is
herself.
like-
That's what's
yeah.
cashing in.
It's sexual in nature.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Okay, I wasn't sure if OnlyFans was like
Fair. Okay.
a wide range of.
To be
things.
fair,
Actually, I'm not even sure. Yeah.
OnlyFans
What is
can be a
OnlyFans?
range of things. Majority is like sexual, like and,
Right.
you know,
Oh, my
those kind of
goodness.
girls. But there's also like OnlyFans accounts. Like basically, it's supposed to be like membership based. So people would subscribe to your channel, and then that's where they get access to all your exclusive content. So there's like chefs who are making like, you know, cool videos and things like that, or even celebrities. They're not posting anything nude, but you get back at like BTS or
Oh,
access
I
to their,
see.
you know, everyday life.
Exclusive. Got it.
Exactly. But majority sexy pictures.
Got it.
But yeah, one chick, she made 43 mil, and then another article came up. There's another chick, she's from Australia. She's gonna attempt sleeping with the most amount of men in 24 hours.
No, I don't.
And I
like
double
this.
checked. You don't win any money for breaking a world record. Like at least if it's like you're in some kind of a league or something, like
Yeah.
you're getting a payoff. Like this is just bragging rights. And what are you really bragging though? Like,
Right.
if that's what you're trying to air quote achieve, and I say that loosely.
Loosely.
Yeah. Insert other joke there.
I mean, okay, if that's your life goal, like
I don't know.
whatever.
What are
like
your
I'm
thoughts?
not
Like,
trying
this
to
is crazy.
judge,
Like this is the
but
world we
also,
live
like,
in. This is real. These are real females.
right.
with real goals.
With real goals.
With real goals. I don't know. And
And-
like, two different situations.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Potentially,
Initial thoughts?
yeah. Just a hard no on all of it. I don't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
any of it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here
Yeah.
and pretend that I celebrate this type of behavior. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's super wild to me. To me, it makes me think, I'm like, yo, when I was 20, I didn't have the balls, or like, I don't know. I just,
I mean, that was not my goal. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, right? I just don't. It just doesn't.
oh man.
like,
And no
that's
judgment, no judgment to,
Yeah, like-
people in certain fields or anything like that. But
Like, whatever
it's
you want
just
to do.
personally not for
do
me.
you, boo boo? Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
You know
I
what?
guess.
That's what you want to do, then okay.
I think I'm just always not concerned. Well, yeah, I guess concerned for the general population, right? Like, I think about who's a role model these days. Who are people
Yeah.
looking up to these days?
Yeah.
What's making headlines? And it's always stuff like this.
It's this stuff that kind of
It's
scares
dangerous.
me. It's especially for like the younger generation. Like,
Yes, very impressionable.
I don't want to be, yeah, they're impressionable. Like, they're even like, you know, jokes. Well, they're posted as jokes, even though I don't think they're funny, where it's like little kids and they're going up at their grad and they're like, when I grow up, I want to have an OnlyFans
what
or
I'm saying.
be a
Yeah,
stripper.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That kind
Yeah.
of stuff
Yeah.
is like, yikes. Yeah, no, it definitely isn't.
The internet is so unregulated and it's so unforgiving. So it's just like you don't even know like what is going on.
Exactly.
People forget about the ethics when it comes to
Thank
like
you, yes.
technology.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
great
True.
advancements, able to connect people far and wide, but just kind of how it's used, why it's used.
Yeah.
It's like that is something I don't think any of us saw coming.
No.
Right.
And I think it's become very important now more than ever for parents to be very present and attentive to what their children are exposing themselves to. Like, you know, like they can't just be sneaking in their room, not talking to you for 2 hours. And you don't know what's going on.
So crazy.
I'm just saying, like kids these days, it's just so crazy. So.
the world that we live in.
Yeah.
Titas, what's happening in the city?
What's not happening?
What's not happening?
So much happening per usual. My goodness. I have a very interesting question that I kind of want to explore with you guys, because the government of Canada has been testing this program where they're able to report rent payments to credit bureaus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So currently, landlords are not able to report rent payments to the credit bureaus. The tenants need to consent to do so, or they can pay a private firm to do it. So they're looking into potentially doing that with Equifax.
Oh.
So wait,
That's good.
actually you brought that up, or that was a conversation on another episode. You're saying that your rent would now be contributed to your credit score. Is that?
Like if you fail to pay rent, then it'll affect your credit score.
Yeah.
That's great.
They're looking at that.
I
Yeah.
think that's great. I think that's so important because there's so many bad tenants. And it's as a landlord, for me, oh my gosh, I've had my share of crazy ass tenants. So I like this. For me, I like this.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. That seems to be the consensus for a lot of landlords out there. They're like,
Yeah.
it's about time. I know a lot of landlords kind of feel like they're trapped.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the Landlord Tenant Act seems to be in favor of tenants. I will say, though, just from the real estate side of things, there are a lot of landlords that don't work with real estate agents. And as a result, sometimes you get what you get.
Yeah.
Because you're not able to vet them the same way that an agent would.
Right.
Right? And in that regard, I've seen and I've heard of a lot of horror stories, commercial and residentially, where people are in these weird scenarios that they can't seem to get out of, or they're not aware of their rights because they don't work with a professional. So, with that being said, I think that it kind of goes both ways. But generally speaking, people are in favor of this because
I'm in favor of it.
I'm in favor of that for sure, because it's like, okay, you cannot rent here, whatever. Like, what happened? Why did you have this situation? Like, there's a lot of things. Like, as a landlord, you should be doing your due diligence. I will never rent to someone who won't give me their credit score. Period.
Yeah.
Because a credit score tells a lot about a person in terms of responsibility. Can they make payments to their credit cards? All these things. And if not, they may have a story. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to do your reference checks, check their credit score, because they're going to be in the house, right?
Yeah.
So, and then if they put this in, did they say when? Or is it still just a conscious
Or are they like just
idea?
testing it
they're
right now
still
and
just
seeing what
testing
the
it out.
response is
Because
like?
some of the things that they have to navigate through is like the Human Rights Code, people's right to housing and stuff like that. And that's why the act is kind of formulated the way that it is. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Interesting.
do it in the States.
They do?
Yeah. A lot of places in the States do it. And
I
it
didn't know
seems to
that.
be that roughly 30% of your credit score would be impacted by your rent payments. So very much a good thing for those who pay on time. The con of it is some people are thinking that this might further the wealth gap or further hurt people who are of lower income because they might be discriminated against or if they fall on hard times, because let's be real, when the economy takes a hit or, inflation is at its peak, those with lowest income are the most impacted.
Yeah.
Right? They're first to get impacted in a lot of scenarios. So some people think that it's a bit of discrimination. I don't know. It's kind of hard to,
Especially when you roll out something like that, there's going to be a lot of questions. There's got to be a lot of, there's going to be a lot of concerns, obviously, like what you mentioned. But my initial thoughts, honestly, as a landlord, like luckily right now I have a tenant who's amazing. Like he's been there with his family for 4 years now. But before that, Oh my gosh, no, it was like a rotating, and we had this one client where cops were involved, and only because the tenant was referred to me by somebody I knew.
Right.
So I did that thing where, oh, I know them, so
It
it's
should
fine.
be okay.
Yeah, and I didn't do my due diligence that one time, and they ended up being a hot mess.
Look what happened.
And they trashed the house, everything, and that costed me so much money to fix, to repair. The dog peed everywhere, like all these things, right?
Yeah.
So after that, we were just so strict, and luckily we have a really great family. But for the protection of the landlord, I think it's important. But you're right; it has to address other things like concerns, like the wealth gap, and who would be. Who would have problems and challenges in this kind of situation. They would have to have provisions for it, for sure.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
in general, I think that, we need to have something like regulated.
For
like
sure.
that.
You brought up a really great point because, I think people think, oh, well, a landlord just has to pay their mortgage. It's their mortgage, their responsibility. I don't think people take into account the fact that these people could destroy the property, which happens a lot of the time.
Yeah.
A dog peeing or any pet, especially cats, oh my gosh, peeing in the floor and whatever. In some cases, you have to replace the subfloor. Take out the floor, forget the main floor. You take out that decorative flooring, you have to take out the subfloor or, treat it or whatever. Walls,
That's very costly.
If there's smoking in your house, you have to replace the drywall because that smell does not come out. Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that need to be addressed and
Yeah.
considered exactly when someone is coming to your place. And, I've heard of, horror stories where people are almost like they're held hostage because people don't want to leave.
Yeah.
And speaking to paralegals and lawyers, there's this thing called cash for keys where a tenant who's kind of holding your place hostage would be like, well, I'll leave, but you got to pay me to leave. I need first and last. I need groceries. I need this and that.
Oh, interesting.
And the range that that was shared with me from lawyers was anywhere from $7,000 to $100K.
What?
Wow. Yeah.
That they're paying these tenants to leave the house.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a
That's
law right now.
wild.
Yeah, there's a law right now where you cannot kick out a tenant if they're in contract, right?
So this is the thing, and I think this is really, I don't want to take up so much time.
it's fine.
But
It's a good
very
conversation.
important.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, there's not really any such thing as a short-term contract. And I think people need to really understand that and hear me when I'm saying this, because you could think that you're signing for a 6-month term, but guess what? The rule is once that contract ends, the date that you have on the contract, once that date passes, you're automatically entered in a month-to-month tenancy. And that's as per the Landlord-Tenant Act. And that's on the residential that's on the form, the rental form.
Yeah.
It spells it out, but a lot of people don't read it or they misinterpret it or whatever. So doesn't matter how long you've written on that contract. Once that contract date lapses, you're automatically in a month-to-month. And there is proper paperwork that you have to serve these people if you want them to leave. You can't just kick them out for whatever reason because you want to charge more rent or whatever.
Yeah.
And there are also rent guidelines depending on when your home was built. There's a lot of things that you have to consider here. And if you don't serve them the right paperwork and your initial contract has all these weird things in it, like, oh, you got to give me 10 post-dated checks and stuff. That stuff can be held against you as a landlord. It doesn't matter what your intention is.
Yeah.
It is against the Landlord-Tenant Act, so you cannot, or the Residential Tenancy Act, so you cannot. Those things are not enforceable, and they will be held against you. If you ask for payment up front in a residential setting, you could potentially owe that money back to the tenant
Oh,
if you go to court.
that's wild.
Yeah.
Even though they've stayed in the home. So
Yeah.
sorry.
So let's say, for example, you're signing on a new tenant, and you're like, listen, the competition's high.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with whoever's gonna offer me the most money up front. Offer me 6 months up front,
Got
and the
it.
place is yours,
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I've seen some interesting paperwork, and I'll cross all of it out
yeah.
because I don't want my tenant or
Yeah.
or landlord to be in a weird position.
Yeah, that's
potentially
weird.
you have
Yeah.
to protect them,
Yeah.
right? So if you have anything weird like that, that could be held against you. So
Yeah.
if you're charging people up front, you
Yeah.
could potentially owe that money back to the tenant.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's at fault. If you take them to if you go to arbitration because they're not paying you rent or whatever the case may be, and that comes up,
Yeah.
you could pay that money back.
Yeah, I've heard situations where international students are asked to pay 12 months up front.
100%. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That is ludicrous. Like,
Yeah.
why would they do that? But for the same reason, like you said, like competition is steep, like you really want this, or maybe they have bad credit, so give me 12 checks up front.
Or no credit.
Whatever,
Or
or no
true.
credit.
No credit, yeah.
There's so many
Students, yeah.
things, but
Yeah.
that's like, what?
It's
I
a
couldn't
lot.
believe that.
Equifax is actually working with, I think it's India, to help with cross country or international credit reporting,
Oh,
so that
really?
people who are coming into the country
Can
can
carry their credit
use
over.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that there's, I guess, what do the kids call it these days? Gatekeeping.
Yeah.
There's less
gosh.
gatekeeping
Yeah.
around credit scores, so that
Yeah.
people who are moving in will have less of a challenge, and there won't be this. I guess stigma against foreign tenants, because I think there was a lot of that as well, right?
Yeah.
With international students
Interesting.
and whatnot. So a lot of very juicy, interesting things when you talk about landlords and tenants. For sure, I 100% agree. That's been the conversation with my husband and I. Should we want to rent out our home? What would that
Yeah.
look like?
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm a realtor.
yeah.
He's an electrician. We're in the industry. We're
Yeah.
well equipped with lawyers
Can't pull a
and
fast
stuff like
one on
that.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you see a lot of landlords, like they're not equipped. They'll and you have to look at things like, well, they're known to look at things like your bank statements.
Yeah.
They can ask you for that stuff
Yeah.
just to
True.
see
Yeah,
what
they
your
ask.
spending habits
Yeah.
are like,
Yep.
right? So, and
Interested to see how all of that rolls out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
and if that would be very
right?
cool to see.
I'll keep you guys informed.
Yeah.
Keep you guys informed.
Talking about Am I Bastos? You love that segment.
Oh, yeah.
so good.
It's so good.
What do we got, Cam? Who's Bastos or not?
Oof. Okay, this one's a little juicy. Okay. Am I Bastos for making my daughter take a break from going to her best friend's house because the mom purposely bought her a smaller size dress?
What?
Wait, hold on. Rewind.
Say
that
it
one more
again.
time. Okay, so
Am I Bastos for making my daughter take a break from going to her best friend's house because the best friend's mom purposely bought a smaller size dress for my daughter? So
That-
there's more context here.
Okay, keep
Okay,
going.
yeah, I
Keep
need that.
going.
More
'cause-
context.
About 2 weeks ago, my 14-year-old daughter, Bonnie, was out shopping with her best friend, Gigi, and Gigi's mom, Lauren. While they were out, Lauren bought them both dresses she thought were cute, except she bought Bonnie a size 3. Bonnie said she picked out one that was her size, but Lauren put it back and said that the size 3 one would be her aspirational dress to work towards fitting into.
Oh.
When she came home, she gave it to me and was upset, but also didn't want to say anything bad about Gigi's mom, which I get. First of all, Bonnie is a healthy girl. Gymnastics until she was about 11 and grew several inches. Dance in the fall and track in the spring, all her choices. She's got an athletic build. Gigi is a small girl, barely 5 feet. And so I thought at first she got them mixed up. She told me that Gigi's mom bought it for her to aspire to try to get into by working hard. I said I'd take care of it and get her the right size. The next day, I called Gigi's mom, Lauren, and asked her why she would do that. She explained that she thought it would give Bonnie something to work towards because she heard Bonnie saying she didn't get asked out last year, but Gigi had several boys after her, and that it seemed like it upset her. I told her it was inappropriate and asked her why she would tell a kid she needed to lose weight in order to get attention from boys. She got defensive and said that it was obviously embarrassing for Bonnie not to have boys into her when all her friends do. She basically said I'm holding Bonnie back from growing up, like I won't help her with boys, won't drop hundreds at Sephora, still dress her like a kid, and buy Bath & Body Works sprays instead of fancy perfumes. She said it's messing with Bonnie socially and that she's the only one in her friend group who hasn't had a boyfriend. Then she got personal and said, just because I've given up and stopped trying doesn't mean I have to turn Bonnie into a nun.
I'm fighting you.
There's more.
Yo, I'm fighting you. What do you?
There's more.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
It's okay. I know. I get it, right? I feel the heat. I feel the heat. For the
See her
record,
face.
right?
You see my body language.
I know.
Shut
all
up, the
the way
mic
up.
dropped, I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. There's more. Okay.
For the record, this is partially true, but it's also because Bonnie doesn't want that stuff. I have offered to get her more than Cetaphil skincare, and she doesn't want it. She got straight A's last year, and I took her to Ulta for a spree, and all she wanted was some lip gloss, and then asked for the body spray instead. I said that it's time for a break. The girls can still hang out, but I don't want Bonnie at Gigi's house. Bonnie got upset over it, and I can deal with that. Gigi's mom, however, has gone nuclear over it, spreading poison everywhere she can about me being a psycho and doubling down on how it's all because I don't want my daughter to be happy with a boyfriend when I'm single and no man would touch me, which is just childish. And I've been shocked to see how other people have reacted to this. So now I'm questioning my own parenting, which I never do. Am I Bastos?
No, absolutely
Girl,
not. You are not Bastos. Homegirl needs I understand that she's trying to come from
Bastos.
good intention or being like, I'm thinking of your daughter. She could have approached this whole scenario completely different. And on top of that, you're disrespecting my daughter and you're disrespecting me. Oh my God. Like, I don't even
Listen,
I feel like hands would have been thrown. I don't know.
I have a daughter.
I was gonna say, I want to hear what the girl mom has to say.
Let's see.
About all
I
of
have
this.
a daughter, and she's not like skinny. And she's happy. She's healthy. And you know what? Maybe when she grows up, she's might
still
be
a kid.
Yeah, of course,
Like,
she's a kid.
yeah.
But these things are real. Like like body image issues, all these things
sure.
for sure. But at the end of the day, nobody can tell my daughter how she needs to look and feel and make all these.
Yep.
Like, no, if you had a problem with it, then come talk to me about it. Don't be just like inserting yourself, thinking that you're
Yes.
doing something right by her.
That part.
By,
You can't be
like-
parenting other people's kids.
Yeah, and like trying to teach her a lesson. Like, no, that's not your job. That's not your business. And like, stop this. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, why other parents feel like they have the right to do that?
She needs more hobbies instead of trying to insert herself into my life.
Yeah.
What are you gonna tell me?
I'm actually pretty cheesed at that
Right?
word.
That would
It's
get me
a disgusting-
riled all the way up.
That's
thing, right?
poor
Yeah.
behavior,
Yeah.
and she needs to go check herself.
Yeah.
But especially since like it doesn't seem like they're friends. Like the moms are friends.
No.
Okay, your
Yeah.
daughters are friends. Are you guys friends? It's not like, oh, this is
Yeah.
Auntie Lauren who's gonna give you. But
Yeah,
like you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah,
that would
that's
excuse the behavior regardless, but like it's just like you're not even friends to begin with. So why are you
Exactly.
giving any form of
This
advice
unwarranted,
to, you know, like,
advice.
For sure.
Very bizarre. Like it's not like she looks up to you and you're like, it doesn't make sense all around.
Yeah.
All around,
And to
it doesn't
me,
make
as a
sense.
parent, I know my kid. To your
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
she included the fact that hey, I took this girl to or what is it?
Ulta Beauty.
Ulta Beauty.
Yeah.
The girl
Sephora.
took body spray. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like your kid. I get it. She's
that's
a
not her
teenager.
interest.
Yeah, and if that mother was concerned, instead of inserting herself and
Yeah.
buying her things and feeding stuff in her head,
yeah.
I would go to the mom and say, "Hey, I heard the girls talking.
Yeah.
Your daughter got really upset because she was the only girl that did
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Bring that up to the parent,
yeah.
and then I will take care of the rest."
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm talking as if I have a kid, but I
No,
but
but-
I
It's
can
true.
I can
No, that's 100%.
put myself in the
true.
shoes at least. But
Yeah.
nah, that woman overstepped. Like,
Yeah,
big
100,000%
time. And on top of that, now you're
overstepped.
gonna go around
and spread
and
rumors
spread
And say that
rumors.
she's psychotic. Like,
and
you're
that
psychotic.
no
B.
man wants to touch me. Like, get a hobby.
It's
Like, what are you
ridiculous.
paying attention to? Why are you
Ridiculous.
watching me so hard? Like,
Yo, she is dead ass wrong for
Yeah,
doing that.
completely.
No matter what, and trying to flip the script on the mom who is just trying to help her daughter the best way she can.
No. So no, you're not Bastos.
Not
No,
at all.
not at all.
Even,
At all.
not even a little bit.
Follow
And
your
if you
heart,
need us to
mama.
pull up,
You
no,
know
just
your daughter. You know your girl. Talk to her. Listen to her. Pay attention to her.
For sure.
And maybe she needs new friends. Like
100%,
straight up.
yeah.
If her friends are so concerned about being small and being liked by boys, then you need to understand what's your daughter's interest. Maybe that's not her interest right now.
No,
So
yeah.
let's steer her into the direction of her interest. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's to be an artist or something.
The values do not
Let's
align.
go that way.
Like,
No.
if that is what
She's new
that
friends.
mom and that daughter is prioritizing,
Yeah.
we're gonna go around this.
Let's
side. We're gonna
refocus.
take-
let's reassess.
Let's
You know.
keep them on that side for
They're
sure.
14. I just want to point that out.
Yeah,
They're
right?
14 years old.
Yeah.
So for you to be prioritizing, I'm talking to you, Lauren, the other mother, for you to be prioritizing boys and stuff like that in your daughter's life.
Yeah.
I mean,
Stop
as they
this.
said before, do you? But don't try to insert those values on somebody else because no. Like it seems like Bonnie has her priorities straight. She's
Exactly.
active. She got straight A's last year. She seems to be doing just fine
What grade are
as
you
she
at
is.
14? What is
You're
it,
in
grade
grade
nine?
9?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're either
I'm
at the
still
end of grade
awkward.
8
I'm watching music
or grade
videos
9.
for my style.
Yeah.
Like you're also still, as much as you're a tween, like there's still that child. Well, for me anyway.
Yes.
Like that's child.
Yes, you're
Like
navigating
element with
that.
yourself, right? Or
You're
so-
100% still navigating being a child and being a teenager. Like,
Yeah.
I'm entering a little bit of new freedom because I'm in high school, but I'm also still like a kid. Like, like what is important? What are my priorities? What are my interests? Like, you're trying to figure that out as a teenager. And then for some woman to be like, you got to look like this and be liked and da-da-da.
weird.
Like,
It's
Girl, bye.
Inspiration on my back foot. Take this dress back. Like,
listen.
You brought up a good point though, because like you're right. Like you are exploring that freedom, and like for some people who develop, like some children, maybe that is she's exploring dating, like this, Lauren's daughter or whatever, which is between Lauren and her daughter.
Yeah, and like no judgment.
But like,
exactly.
But maybe Bonnie's freedom exploring was like, hey, I get to walk to Tim's by myself.
100%.
You know what I mean? Or like,
really
I got my own money to spend or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? I get to go to the mall by myself. Like, all of this is just a little too much, man.
Yeah.
Like, whoo. And this is the part, I'm not going to lie, like as a non-mother, this is the part, like, when I become a mother, I'm terrified of this sort of thing.
What a mean girl mom.
I don't know how I'd react.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd react.
That's like that mama bear instinct protection.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can get protective now about the people I love. My child, like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
What dimension that could be. I could flip into.
Like, I'd be walking with my nephew, and if someone didn't hear him say hi, because he likes to say hi to everybody, if someone didn't hear him, I'm like, yo, like,
what's your problem?
You know what I mean? Like, you don't hear him saying hi?
Like, it's so rude.
You don't hear this young king saying hi to you?
Yeah.
He said hi.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can't imagine something like this.
Yeah.
What?
No.
My goodness.
And I also think one of the things that I'm learning as my daughter is growing and realizing her body and her talent and all these things, I'm realizing, like, pay attention and really listen to what they're saying.
How they talk about themselves.
How they talk about themselves, how they talk about other people, what makes them happy, what brings them joy, and steer them there. Not what society is telling them
100%.
where they should be, Just pay attention.
Oh, man.
We're going to do more Am I Bastos because these are so fun to talk about. These are so much fun.
It really is.
Right?
And also relatable.
Very much
so. Relatable.
Very
yeah.
much so. Really shining some light on some like real topics.
Yeah.
As you heard in the last segment. So take it away, Jada. Let us know.
Am I Bastos? Am I Bastos for being disgusted because my girlfriend doesn't wash her hair for weeks?
Oh.
I need to hear more of this.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Context.
Okay.
I understand this is a very sensitive subject, and I want to preface by saying I am approaching this as delicately as possible. Any ignorance on my part is not malicious, but simply because I don't know. I, a 28-year-old male, was in a long-distance relationship with my girlfriend, 25-year-old female, for several months before we decided to take the plunge and move in together. She now lives with me. Before she lived with me, we could only visit each other one weekend every month, but we called and texted every day. She moved in with me about 6 weeks ago. For relevant context, I am white and my girlfriend is black. We live a very active lifestyle and we regularly work out, i.e. hiking, biking, etc. I started to notice that after she would work out and shower, her hair would not be wet and still in braids. I have a sister, and I know women don't always wash their hair every day, so I figured it was that. But then I noticed she still didn't wash her hair the next week either. Her hair is absolutely beautiful, and I love her curls, but whenever I get near her head, I could smell that her scalp/hair was dirty and unclean. I personally am very sensitive about smells, especially the smell of a dirty scalp. I have to wash my hair every 1 to 2 days because I cannot stand the smell of buildup. More time passed, and it had now been weeks since my girlfriend washed her hair, and while it might be mean to say, I was honestly disgusted. The smell was really bothering me, and I brought up the issue to her, which caused her to fly off the handle. Granted, I might not have gone about it the best way. I basically asked her point blank when was the last time she washed her hair because it kind of smells bad. She looked at me and like I was insane and immediately started calling me racist and ignorant. She informed me black women's hair is different and doesn't require frequent washing because it can dry out and damage the follicles. I told her I understand hair care for black women is different, but that doesn't mean her scalp or hair magically stays clean and doesn't smell after not washing out the dirt, sweat, oils, and buildup for weeks. This led to me calling me a dumb effing racist.
Okay.
And she kept repeating how ignorant and stupid I am. This has really cut me deep because I do not believe I am racist. Ignorant is fair because that is true. I grew up in a predominantly white area, and my past girlfriends have all been exclusively white or Asian with straight hair texture. I had no exposure, and I don't see why a white guy not knowing about black women hair care is racist. Things with my girlfriend are tense. She has been washing her hair every day and saying she will blame me for how damaged her hair becomes because I have made her so insecure about the smell. I've apologized profusely, but things are still not well. I guess I just want an outside perspective. Edit. For clarity, she did not wash her hair for 5 weeks. This past week, she has been washing her hair every day.
Oh.
Ooh, I need a minute to digest
That's a lot
that
of
one.
stuff.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. I was taking some notes here because I'm like,
Yeah, there's a lot
There's a
there.
lot of-
I don't know who wants to take it away because that one's deep. I didn't expect it to go in that
That
direction.
is a real
Yeah.
couple problem, you know, because there's so many layers.
And actually probably more common than
True.
you assume, especially in this day and age and how diverse,
Yeah.
the dating scene can be. So
I mean, okay, I guess my question is, could there be a compromise of sorts? Like, I don't think she needs to be super excessive to be doing it every day, just to be like, see my hair, I'm washing my hair.
Yeah, it's
you know,
fair.
could there be like something like, okay, like a compromise? I don't know, like that's respectable to, obviously maintaining her hair care, but also kind of respecting, or could there be another solution where maybe, she can like, I don't know.
I don't know. And I'll
I'm
be
not
the first to say
sure.
too, I
There's
know,
gotta be a
especially when
solution.
it comes to like black hair care, that is a whole other world, which like I
Yeah.
genuinely
okay, I'll
do not know.
shed some light. I'll shed a
Okay,
little bit of
except
light.
for whatever
Okay.
my friends have shared with me.
Yeah, I'll shed a little bit of light, but obviously, as you can see, this is my hair. It is a little bit different from, I guess, what you would typically see on a black person. But I don't wash my hair every day. I think that's common to women, as he noted in his story. But I know with black women, people with more coily hair, like more dense, like the goal of the styles that they pick is to maintain moisture. The hair is natural because
Got it.
and like to just protect it, really.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they can't just wash it every day because it could dry out, or even
Yeah.
like they can't even wash it as frequently as a week, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So I think, but with that being said, that's not to say that there aren't ways that you can cleanse your scalp.
Right.
Obviously, this is something that's been like, black people have been around forever. So it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like it's not new.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, especially someone who's, part black.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's I didn't even always know how to take care of my own hair. So it sounds to me like this woman probably also does not. I think there's a certain level, like for me, there was a lot of ignorance. I couldn't go to just any hairdresser because
Yeah.
no one knew what to do with
Yeah.
my hair, right? And I think that for her, maybe she just hasn't not invested in that educational piece, or invested in a professional to help her with that.
Got it.
Because yeah, for sure, 5 weeks can be common for a black woman to not wash her hair. But in terms of smell, I mean, I have black friends and I've never really had an issue smelling their scalp, and and I know they cleanse it and they take that care. So
Right.
maybe there's a different way he could have said it, and like, hey, when are you gonna wash your hair because it smells? Because that is kind of like an ignorant way to approach it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, I don't know how long they've been together for her to be calling him racist like that. Like,
Yeah.
it goes both ways. I think like he says he's a little bit ignorant.
Yeah.
Considering his upbringing. I know my husband would never say it like that to me.
Yeah,
And if he
yeah.
did, it's because that's how we talk to each other, but he would never say something like that to me. Like he would be very thoughtful in his
Yeah,
approach.
sure.
Your
if,
approach.
If I was in that scenario.
Yeah.
And on the reverse, I would never call my husband racist
Yeah.
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 for asking a question that he genuinely has
Didn't
nothing.
know. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
think,
mean?
I think that's the part that I do feel bad for him, because he's like, I genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
And now he's getting penalized.
And it's not
for it.
fair. It's not fair. And I don't know, man, whatever. I'm going to say this. It's not fair for people who are curious to be automatically labeled as racist, because there's a lot of information out here that people don't know, and people are trying to find out in this
Yeah.
day
Yeah.
and age. And
Yeah.
Google doesn't have the answer for everything.
Yeah.
So if you can't ask your partner,
Yeah.
or you can't speak to your partner or closest friends about it, who the hell are you going to talk to about it?
Yeah.
You want these people to stay ignorant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents, right?
Yeah, I think maybe if he had made, well, we don't know exactly what he said. Like, yeah, maybe he just said like, oh, when are you gonna wash her? But maybe if he had approached it in a different way, like you said, like maybe ask questions like, so how long, in a more sensitive like way.
Tell me
Fair.
about your hair care
Yeah.
routine.
Yeah, tell
or
me.
is there
Yeah,
something I
yeah.
can do to support you? Or
Yeah.
like maybe you can shed some light on, because from what I know, I understand that women don't wash your hair often or whatever. Just
having that
exactly
kind
what
of
you said.
conversation.
Being curious, going in with curiosity.
That's what I'm gonna say. Lead with a curiosity.
But
Like you genuinely don't know.
Open-ended questions, not like, hey, when are you gonna wash your hair because it stinks? It's, hey, can you shed some light around your hair routine for me? Yeah.
Like asking it like that, I'm gonna be defensive.
Yeah, exactly.
I think any woman, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, for
Would you just say to me? You said I stink?
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
But like if you're genuinely curious, lead with that.
Yeah.
And and maybe who knows? Like I don't think it's the relationship is a write off right away. Maybe she's just upset. Hence,
I hope
watching her every single day.
Which girl? Please stop.
Yeah.
Because you're not proving anyone.
Exactly. You're not. Yeah.
So hopefully that will subside, and then they can
have a conversation.
Continue to have that conversation.
Yes,
yeah.
I think that's the most important. Just ask questions. And how long have they been together? Did it say?
Good question.
Did it say how long they were together for?
No, it didn't mention how long.
Because maybe it's a
new.
Yeah, maybe. But
they were in a long distance relationship.
So that to me, I'm just like, ugh. But I also know, like, depending on where they are.
For several months before we decided to take the plunge and move in together.
Okay, so they've been together for a while. So I think the thing too is like just taking into account where they might live. Like if they're in the States, I know like race relations, particularly between white and black people, are very high. Very high tension sometimes, especially if they lived in certain states. So like, throwing the R word around, man, like I gotta say, that's very hurtful.
That's
very hurtful.
There's a lot of other names you can call them.
And I do want to address it because I think that like people don't realize how much that hurts the other person. And I get it. You might have been hurt because the question was ignorant, but I don't think ignorance is always malicious. Right. Especially in a scenario like this. And I don't think the reaction should be to just like racism is to call somebody a racist. I really want you to think about what you're saying here.
Especially post 2020 with everything that we know.
Please
now.
think about what you're saying here.
For sure.
It's very hurtful.
For sure. And they did long distance, so you can only do so much. Now you're like living together. That's a different level of getting to know somebody, right? So oh man!
All right,
some deep topics.
Yeah, that was good.
Definitely, that was a good one. Good luck to you, bro. I hope everything works out.
Yeah, good luck, man.
And y'all are still together, and you know more.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Another episode in the books. You know where to find us. We'll see you next week. Galau, galau.
Galau, galau.
Don't stay still for too long. But we'll see you next week. And until then,
ingat.
Not a little,